YouTube friends and family, to today's edition of the Wellness Homesteader. So we're back in the kitchen because we are going to do a Christmas gifts from the kitchen episode. I think it's 4 now, but this is something you may just want to cook for your family. You do not have to can it if you're going to eat it fresh. It also could be frozen. What are we making? Stay tuned to find out. I do realize that not everyone cans, not everyone enjoys canning videos, but this is one I really wanted to do, and I want to share it with you because during winter, for most of us, depending on where you are in the world, soup is a very popular item, especially if you're feeling under the weather or you need something relatively easy to digest. Now, I'm not guaranteeing this is good for an upset stomach. However, growing up, my absolute favorite canned soup was Campbell's bean with bacon. I haven't had it in years, and I have tried in times previous to create something similar, and it was never quite right. So I always believe in community above competition. Again, this guy won't know who I am. And it's Carol at Thrifty Chic Homestead, or Thrifty Chic Housewife, sorry. I'm trying to make everybody live on a homestead. And I saw as a suggested video that she makes mock Campbell's bean with bacon soup. And I'm like, I must have that. And I must share that with y'all. So, and y'all excuse that microphone. I'm hoping this is going to improve the quality of my videos. I won't know. This is only Monday until tomorrow when the video actually airs. But anyway, so I actually did start this last night, but I figured y'all knew how to do this much. So what I did was I took dry navy beans, 3 cups, and I soaked them overnight. And as you see, they've about doubled in size. Now, there's a couple ways you can prepare your beans if you don't want to soak them overnight. You can cover them by 2 inches, not in 2 inches, but cover them over by 2 inches of water, boil for 2 minutes, then soak them for an hour and drain them. I try to always soak my beans. I just think things come out better. So what goes into this? Kind of interesting. So let me flip you down here. Hopefully I have everything out. Nope, you know what? I don't have my spatula. Let me grab that. Wouldn't be a video, y'all, if I had everything. All right, so I have my large, this is probably about a 6-quart enamel coated cast iron Lodge pan. And y'all, as you use it, you will get some discoloration. That doesn't bother me. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put in our beans. Now, not only have I washed them, I sorted them twice. Reason being, y'all, sometimes there's little rocks that don't get picked out by the sorter. So I'm always like so afraid I'll make a soup and somebody will break a tooth. And I don't want that to happen. Okay, on top of this, it calls for a quart. And I'm thinking this is a 3/4 quart. Let's see. Come on, ball. I'll pour it up. I guess I don't have my can opener. Y'all, this is not starting out good. I hope I'm not on the struggle bus all day today. So this is the chicken broth that we just did in October. And I'm going to just verify this is a 3/4 quart. Well, that is just shy of a quart. So I guess those are quart jars, tall, skinny quarts. Alrighty. So we're going to add that quart of chicken stock to start. The next thing we need is 6 ounces of tomato paste. I'm going to go ahead and put the whole 7 ounces in, y'all. I get this from Azure. It's the organic tomato paste with no salt added. So delicious. And if y'all remember my escapade last time, I am not going to try to stick that big spatula in there. Spatula. Y'all have weird names for things sometimes, and you say it, and then you're like, oh, wait, I know that's not right. Like a spatula instead of a spatula. That's a southern thing. But I know it's a spatula. So I'm just going to get all the goodness out of this. And you know what? I'm going to actually save this jar because we're going to be adding additional liquid. I just want to make sure I get all the goodness out of it. All right. Next thing is a cup of diced carrots. So I realize this is a liquid measuring cup. This is probably over a cup. We're going to use it anyway. I put the carrots in there and I got a little extra and I'm not wasting it. So if you think about the Campbell's beef with bacon soup, it does have little pieces of carrot. Another thing is you could use fresh onion in this. You could also add celery to it. I don't care for celery. I'm not going to add celery. But Carol was saying that to really replicate what Campbell's uses is the dried minced onion. So we're going to add our 6 tablespoons of our minced dried onion. And I'm normally a fresh is best, but I'm sure this is going to be better than for you. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Than any Campbell's soup will be. All right. Next, we're going to add 2 teaspoons of seasoned salt. And I prefer, Lowry's. Guys, I guess I have my homemade. Okay, that's a bit much. I need to get some more of that. Now, the next ingredient is a teaspoon of Old Bay, or I don't have Old Bay. Old Bay is mostly celery salt. So I'm going to use the celery salt, if I can remember how to get this open. Okay. This is a new one. You know what, y'all? I think I have one open. Let me check that real fast. Okay, no, I must have used it. They make these things like almost impossible to get open. And with my fiddly hands, I don't do well with it. We're determined. Okay, so let's do our 2 teaspoons. I'm sorry, our 1 teaspoon of celery salt. Now, since I am using the celery salt, I'm not going to be adding any more salt. Where's my lid? Okay, I'll find that in a minute. Until a bit later, till we have really time to taste it, because we've put seasoned salt, celery salt, and we will be adding bacon to this. Okay, 2 teaspoons of black pepper. I'm also getting low on pepper. I think I need to do a bit of a spice stock up. And I'm just going to stir this all at once, y'all. You know how to stir up pan. A bay leaf. I don't have that. Then a teaspoon of the beef flavored soup base, or better than bouillon soup base. Again, y'all, I'm opening a lot of new jars today. I should have checked that. I apologize. So again, Carol created this recipe by looking at the ingredients in a can of Campbell's soup. And then the last item that we're going to add before we start cooking is liquid smoke. Now, some people don't like using this and they feel it's an unnecessary additive. I will tell you, it's quite strong. I'm not going to measure over the pan in case I get a little carried away, because too much liquid smoke, you just about can't recover from that. I can always add more, but I can't take away. Alrighty. So just to recap, we have our 3 cups of kidney beans, a quart of chicken stock, 6 ounces of tomato paste, a cup of carrots, 6 tablespoons of dried minced onion, 2 teaspoons seasoned salt, 1 teaspoon celery salt, 2 teaspoons of pepper, the bay leaf I didn't have, half a teaspoon of liquid smoke. Hopefully we're not going to put soap in there. and a teaspoon of bouillon beef base. So let's give this a good stir. And I may want to add some more liquid right off the jump. So what her instructions say is add 2 cups of water to this, because you've already put the chicken stock in it. You can see it's quite thick, too thick for soup, and your beans are going to absorb more water. So what I'm actually going to do, so I'll say this is Carol's recipe modified, is I'm not going to use water at this point. Okay, get the jar. Oh, that one was sealed really well. And y'all, yes, I always smell all of my canning before I use it. It's just part of my safety check. That is looking a little more soupish. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the stove. We're going to bring this to a boil, reduce it to a simmer, and we're going to simmer it for 1 hour. So during that time, you may have to add up to 2 cups more of liquid, whether you use water or I'll probably just use the rest of my chicken broth. You know what? Let's actually give this a little taste test, because there's nothing like raw meat in it. Ooh. Salty to me, but again, it hasn't cooked, and those, I didn't take a bite of bean because the beans are still pretty hard. I also have gone ahead and fried off a pound, yes, I said a pound of bacon, but you got to realize this is going to make, I think it's going to make 4 to 5 quarts of soup. I think it's going to make quite a bit. And here's why you want to drain your bacon. This is a pint jar, so that's about 6 ounces of pure grease that I don't want in my soup. That's like liquid gold though, because it's good for other things. But let's get this cooking. I will bring you back when we've simmered for about an hour, just to show you what it's looking like and how much liquid to add. Stay tuned. All right, we have about 7 minutes left. Woo, on our 1 hour cook. I got a clean spoon out. I want to show you what our soup is looking like. Now, I probably didn't make this clear. I did not put the bacon in. I'm not going to put it in until I'm ready to jar up, because we have to pressure can our quarts for 90 minutes. So that is going to greatly cook the beans. If you've ever canned dry beans, you know that they get completely cooked in the 90 minutes. So these beans are still quite hard, but I don't want my bacon just total mush like it is in Campbell's. So I did go ahead and add the 2 additional cups of liquid, because as you see, a lot of liquid has absorbed in the beans. I can tell you it's still quite crunchy. Let's give it a quick taste. One thing I can tell you is it's a little more pepper forward than I think Campbell's is, but hold on. Oh, guys, that's better than any Campbell's soup I've ever had in my life. And it doesn't even have the beans and I didn't taste the beans, and it doesn't have the bacon in it yet. And the bacon's going to add all sorts of smoky yumminess. Salt level's fine. I definitely would not put any more salt in it personally. And y'all know I don't use a whole bunch of salt. I just don't think it's healthy, and that's a me thing. So you all salt away if you want to. Definitely, if I make this again, or when I make this again, because I know I will, because I just love this kind of soup, I would probably cut the pepper back personally, just my taste. And y'all know I love spicy, but this just leaves that pepper feeling in the back of your throat. I would probably cut that back by maybe a half of a teaspoon back. So maybe like a teaspoon and a half of black pepper. I also would cut back the celery salt, because I'm not a huge fan of celery. But as this is cooked, I'm not getting the celery forward taste that I did when I very first tasted it. Also, the saltiness totally has gone away. The first taste I took, guys, I was like, oh no, I may not be able to use this video. So let's just chat a minute, because y'all know I like to talk. Actually, here's a little known fact about Kym Clark. I'm actually a very shy person. I have terrible
Social anxiety, that might be a bit of a drama statement, but I do have social anxiety when in meeting like a group of people I don't know, unless it had to do with work, in which case I always felt like I was in charge, so it never bothered me. And I don't mean like I'm the boss, although I was the boss, but you know what I'm saying. I just felt secure in my knowledge base. So generally those conversations around groups of people I didn't know well were all about the business. So that was very simple for me. Anyway, y'all may be sitting here thinking, Kym, why do you do all this? Go to the store and buy some Campbell's soup. Okay, let me ask you this. You get a gift basket from somebody that you know, but isn't, let's say, a family member. And it's a can of Campbell's soup and a pack of saltines. Would you rather have that, or would you rather have something like this made up prettily? And is that a word, prettily? Very nicely. And we're going to be doing that video on how to package these things. But wouldn't you rather get a jar of nicely presented, homemade bean with bacon soup with no funky ingredients in it, a pack of, we'll go up a notch, a pack of fancy crackers, just, and maybe stick a DVD in there. Guys, it'll be too late when you see this. It's Cyber Monday. I know DVDs are super cheap right now on Amazon. Like, you can get a lot of good classic movies. But anyway, to me, that is a very thoughtful gift. Or a pair of slipper socks. Just something that says comfort. I think this could be a really neat basket. Now, what am I going to do with it? Well, my sweet neighbor next door has that terrible ick that I have, only she's like almost 80 and very frail. So I am going to take her some if it isn't too peppery, because she doesn't like spicy. I'm going to go ahead and can up, because I want the beans to cook. I'm going to go ahead and can up and then open a jar. And if it tastes good, I will take her some, like in a Tupperware kind of a thing. If I think it's too spicy for her, she likes no spice at all. Don't give her a jalapeno. But then I'll come up with plan B. I want to do something nice for her. Also, back to the gift basket idea. I took a look on Walmart.com. A can of Campbell's bean with bacon is $1.72. The way I have it figured, it's 11.5 ounces. You put a can, and that's by weight. Then you're going to end up with about half of a quart of soup out of each can. So if I get 5 quarts out of this, that would be 10 cans of Campbell's soup, or $17.72. Not that I'm being exact or anything. Let's think about what I have in this, okay? I'm not counting my time. I'm not counting electricity. I did buy a pound of really good bacon from Aldi, and it was like just under $4, but let's say $4. I, like, at the high end, could say maybe $1 in spices. I don't think I have that much, so that'd be $5. I had a cup of carrots. Okay, maybe a quarter. Seriously, there wasn't a whole lot of carrot. And I had 2 quarts of chicken broth that I made from a chicken carcass where I ate the chicken. So it cost me plus the jar, but anyway, it cost me I don't know, I lost track of that already. $6.25, not $17. So yes, for me, it saves me money. I don't can just because it saves me money. I can because I can control ingredients, because I have a soy allergy, because I think it's better for us. And flat out, guys, I just like doing it. And I like the security of having food on the shelf because, as you all have observed, I have some variability in my health. And here lately, guys, I know I've let you down, but y'all are so kind about it. Hi, Cindy. Okay. I have trouble getting this timer to turn off because my hands are cold. Well, we'll just let her sing a little bit. So some days I don't feel like standing here in the kitchen all day and cooking. I just don't. And I was going to try to do Vlogmas for you all this year and do a video every day. Yeah, that's not happening, y'all. Just saying. All right.
Pardon me. Our soup is done. I'm going to get my canning station set up. I've already set my jars to warming in my, oh, this is such a long name, Presto Precise electric pressure canner. And I have set the timer, because you preset the timer for 90 minutes, but it walks you through the steps. So right now we're in the warming the jars. So I put 3 quarts of water in, a little squirt of vinegar. You fill your jars halfway with water. I'll take that water and put it over top of my lids, even though we really don't have to do that anymore. My jars are washed and ready to go. So I'll see you at the canning station. All right, y'all. So we have all of our delicious bacon that I have drained on some paper toweling. Did I taste the bacon? Well, of course, that's part of the quality control. Yeah, I just decided to wait until the very end to add the bacon. I cooked it thoroughly, rendered all the fat out of it, but I wouldn't say that I crisp it up entirely. So we have our first jar warmed and out of the canner. Again, I'm using quarts, which will process for 90 minutes. If you do pints, you would do 75 minutes with the appropriate pressure for your altitude. And I am trying, we're going to be leaving a 1-inch headspace. So that means 1 inch below the top of the jar, which throw a little on your canning mat to make sure it tastes really good. You do want to leave the 1 inch because of possible expansion of the beans during the cooking process. If you all have ever canned dried beans, you know that it's amazing how much they poof up. Now these are pre-cooked, pre-soaked, and somewhat pre-cooked. Whew, that is hot. Looks delicious. Let's go ahead and just debubble this. I know it's soup, but still it does have chunks in it. And then you can throw your ladle a little bit. My liquid level went down just a little bit, and I am cleaning my rims with vinegar. That's just how I do it. A lid, a ring finger tight. And here you have it. I will bring you back. And of course, the beans are going to settle to the bottom until they cook further. So if you taste this right now, they're like chunky, hard beans. I'll bring you back and let you know how many quarts I get. It's a woman's prerogative to change her mind. What I actually ended up doing, because it's very hard for me to guesstimate how much was left in the pot, I did do 2 quarts, which would be really nice if I have a guest for lunch. Be fabulous with a grilled cheese. And I did 3 pints, and I was a little bit shy on the very last pint, so I put a little more chicken broth in there to sort of mellow out the pepper a little bit so I could take it to my neighbor. So if you would have done pints versus quarts, you would have gotten 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. I told you it's never accurate. Or it does make 6 to 7 pints. It depends on how much liquid you added for the beans, and it also depends on how much liquid boiled off. I kept mine covered. All right, we're going to close the latch, put the green lid over, switch it over to can. It says fill jars. We've done that, and now it will start heating, and it will automatically vent for 10 minutes. Then once it's up to that temperature, it will start counting down for 90 minutes. Then it automatically goes into its own cool down venting phase. It's so cool, guys. So looks like something blew up in here again. Kind of looks like that every day in here. I'm going to get everything really well cleaned up, and we're going to do one more quick treat that doesn't involve canning that I think you would really enjoy gifting. And it involves, of all things, the crock pot. Stay tuned. Y'all, I don't know when I lost you. My memory may be full again. It's like a chronic problem. So let me go over what I did. I whipped up 2 egg whites. I added into that 2 teaspoons of vanilla, a half a cup of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of cayenne, half a teaspoon of allspice, a teaspoon of salt, 6 tablespoons of maple syrup, and we have this luscious, thick numminess here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to stir in. It calls for the amount that I've done, 8 cups of mixed nuts. I can pretty much guarantee this isn't 8 cups. So I guess we can measure 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2. Okay, looks like there was a little over 3 cups in that. So, we'll have a little extra coating, but that is just fine. And I purchased these Southern Grove mixed nuts, less than 50% peanuts, almonds, cashews, hazelnuts, and pecans with sea salt. So they do have salt in it. I would say you might want to up your salt if you're using unsalted nuts, but you can use any type of nut you want. And you can also obviously have the recipe since I'm doubling it. Oh, guys, does this look good? I could just eat this raw. All right. Okay, we have reached pressure can pressure. And you do want to make sure you get all your nuts good and coated because that is the goodness of it. Yes, indeed. Oh, guys, this looks so ooey gooey good. So it says, let me read you the directions. Toss in the butter. It will melt as the nuts begin to candy. Cover and cook on low 2 to 3 hours or high for 1 hour. Stir every hour or so to ensure all the nuts are coated. And then we do have to transfer them to a parchment-lined baking sheet and allow them to dry completely. You don't want to try to package these sticky or you will have a ooey gooey stuck to the treat bag mess. All right. So I'm just going to spread these around. Oh, y'all. Y'all look. So we'll get our lid on and latched down. I know you're going to find this shocking. I'm going to clean up the kitchen again. And our canner should finish up and be cool probably about the time the nuts get done. So we'll be able to have at least some of the afternoon free. It is almost 10 o'clock here. So stay tuned. We'll wrap it up and I'll show you final steps. You all, this smells so amazing. And I might have had some. I'm going to drop the towel. Get a clean one. I want to show you. I'm just going to pick up the whole tripod. Look at these nuts. So I always like to give you like my 2 cents. Like if I were making this for a specific person or I was concerned about certain ingredients, the butter I would chop up because it just took a while. But these are beautifully coated. We're not even to 2 hours. I would not do them on high. I think you would run a really large risk of scorch if your crock pot gets too hot with all that sugar and sweetness. Salt level for me was perfect, and I'm not a huge salt fan, so I would definitely let them cook an hour or so and then taste a couple of the nuts. See what you think. Definitely not too much heat for me. Very much a back note, like you really don't even taste the heat. So if you want to make this for the spice lover in your life, I would up it. But what I would do is go ahead and cook it for an hour and then decide if you want to add some to it, because I can definitely tell that the spices, so to speak, I guess they're not herbs, they're really spices, the flavor has intensified as that heat has warmed up the oils. So over at our canner, y'all, I'm so excited.
It's on the cool down phase. So I do not smell the soup. That's always kind of the hallmark of have I had siphoning. I always worry with beans that will get a little too much head space. So I will be bringing you back to show you the end product. I won't be able to taste it beyond what I've done, but what I did do with the little bit of liquid that was left is I dropped a piece of bacon, and wow, guys, so good, very close to Campbell's, other than I am tasting more black pepper. And I don't know if that's a me thing, possibly could be. So what could you do with the nuts? Well, I purchased these Wilton at Walmart party bags. And I know they're kind of a weird shape, but when you gather them up, see, they'll be super cute. What we'll be doing is spreading those nuts out on a sheet. I will insert a picture at the very end of what the nuts look like once they've had a chance to dry. You want them to get really dry. You want that coating to solidify, and it will. It will with the egg white and the butter as well. It will get harder. I'm probably going to put them behind the cat gate just because I would die of embarrassment if a stray fuzzier hair flew into the nuts. And then I do plan to put them in the bags eventually. But I think since this is only the 29th, the 28th. Oh, it was the 29th. Okay. Today's Monday, right? I will probably put them into clean, very dry jars and vacuum seal them and then package them up when I'm ready to actually make up my gift baskets. I think that makes a little bit more sense. Also, by popular request, I know when I make soap and I'm using the lye and it's a complex process, I know that's not for everyone. I totally get it. But I've come up with 3, and I'm still going to call it gifts from your kitchen, but it's spa gifts from your kitchen that anybody can make. You probably have most of the ingredients right on your shelf, and they're very simple to make, and they're very much appreciated, and they make quality products that are natural, that won't harm you. So stay tuned for that one. I also wanted to share one thing, y'all. I've talked a lot about how much I love Young Living, how much I love Thieves. How does your soap bottle get dirty? So they have a special running right now on an assortment called Squeaky Clean. And one of the things that was in there is this wonderful, they have such good quality bottles. And it just says dish soap. Now the label is not coated. It's probably going to get peeled off. I can see where it's already got water spots on it, but it'd be simple to take off. I want to tell you about the Thieves dish soap, not to be like hating on Young Living. Y'all know I like Young Living. Just as I've experienced when I've tried to make liquid soap, and it's like a 2-day process and use only essential oils in it. It does not lather. So generally, for a dish soap to lather, it has the bad chemicals in it. So the sulfonylurea sulfa acetate, the SLSA, that's what makes a bath bomb foam if you get a bath bomb that foams. And there's some controversy about using that product. So what I've been doing is using the Thieves for the disinfecting power, but I'm still adding, I'm using like half regular dish soap and half Young Living. So drop me a comment below, y'all. I am just having a heck of a time finding a dish soap that performs, hand washing soap, hand washing dishes soap. I try these Grove products. This is their ultimate dish soap, orange and rosemary. But I'm sorry, it's sodium lauryl sulfate is the second ingredient. So this is the bad stuff in it. So if y'all have any suggestions, I know that bubbles don't clean dishes. I need the bubbles, just saying. All right, I will bring back for some final thoughts momentarily. Y'all look at these delicious glazed nuts. So a little tip for you. I have a Hamilton Beach crock pot. I've always felt like it gets hotter than my older crock pot right at the 2 hour mark because I stirred about every 20 minutes, to be honest. All of a sudden, the melty butter was gone, and it was not frying, but sizzling a little bit. I mean, you could tell they were like done. They taste phenomenal. I can't recommend this enough. And you could do it in a little crock pot. You could do it in small quantities. Just, keep cutting the recipe back. Can't say enough good. And y'all, look at our beautiful Campbell's dupe bean with bacon soup. So I do feel like there are more beans than what bean with bacon soup has, but hello, that and the bacon's the good part, right? I did do one back here. You may see it has more liquid. I want to take it to my neighbor because she's under the weather, and I was afraid it would be too much pepper for her. So I did add a little bit of broth at the end, so it'll still be fine. Your beans do expand. I did have a tiny, tiny bit of siphoning, even with the 1 inch headspace. So keep that in mind. Definitely don't go closer to the top than 1 inch. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I always enjoy spending time with you. Again, I apologize when I have to take days off, but I don't want to just bring you a slap together video where it's obvious I don't feel well and I'm whiny. I had to redo this segment twice. My fence is repaired, y'all, and I have met the loveliest neighbors. This has ended up being such a blessing. And they say that the gentleman says he will take down the old coop. They're getting chickens, or the old run, and build the new run, and pay for the replacement cost of the run. I think I might get something a little sturdier, just because I've noticed that when the wind blows, I'm afraid it's going to take off like a sail and end up at their yard before they're ready for it. So at any rate, it's all worked out very well. So we've gotten a lot of nice treats, guys. Stay tuned. More to come. And until I see you again, smash the like button. Be healthy, be well, be blessed. Take care.